This is the most diverse, dynamic instrument on the planet. No other animal has developed control over the acoustic nature of their vocal utterances, with the exception of some birds. However, whilst many animals are able to communicate using sounds of one sort or another, it is on a basic, instinctive level, driven by chemical responses in the body. Quite incredibly, humans have evolved such that we can interact on a higher level. We can share knowledge with one another using imitated vocal sounds, and we can even invent new sounds to describe the unknown. A voice has the power to emote laughter, give rise to tears, take your breath away, and soothe a child to sleep. Primal, expressive, emotive, and connected. This is the human voice. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ewan, and I'm joined today by Tony, Caitlin, Ben, Peter, and Andy. Together, we make up the heart of Choral Stimulation, an a cappella group hailing from here in Glasgow. So, for the past few years, we have spent a pretty unhealthy amount of time making weird noises in a small room of the Glasgow University Union. Why on earth would we do such a thing, you might ask? For some, we'd come from choral backgrounds and thought we knew what we were getting into when we signed up. For others, we just stumbled into the wrong room whilst looking for the toilet. I simply misread the sign saying choral stimulation auditions and was expecting something completely different. But I can say that all of us are here now having discovered something quite profound. Something we certainly hadn't anticipated when we joined, and perhaps something we hadn't found in other musical pursuits thus far in our lives. So today we'd like to try and share with you a little bit of this vocal magic that they call a cappella. And I think there's only really one way that we can do this any justice. And I'm sure all of you must have been expecting this, coming to an a cappella-based TED Talk. So, the moment you've all been waiting for. I am absolutely kidding. A whole load of people simultaneously look for an exit there. Don't worry, I won't put you through that. But with the help of the rest of Choral Stimulation, we'd like to try and help demonstrate some of the virtues of the human voice. And hopefully by doing so, we can all start to understand a little better why we have spent so much of our time over the past few years making weird noises in a small room of the Union. To begin with, I'd like to take you through the basic elements of vocal music. We'll start with a note. Do. Now this note has an associated frequency. Interestingly, if you double the frequency, you get the same note, but up an octave. Do, do. Now, the vast majority of vocal melodies usually reside within this one octave, sometimes maybe two. However, in a cappella, we can combine singers of various natural ranges to get up to 4 octaves.
Middle note,
Low note.
really low note.
Sometimes even 5. Really high note. All right. Now, by using a combination of notes in between that, we can get a chord.
Da.
This, of course, is harmony. Now, we can have a tempo and a rhythm. And we can fluctuate the volume to get dynamics. Or we can alter the timbre of our voices to make us sound more operatic. Or more twangy. Or more like Justin Bieber. Now we can blend all of these elements together in any manner we choose. For example, we could make the harmony more interesting. We could complicate the rhythm. Or we could complicate the melody.
Hey, hey, hey.
And one last thing that we use is the space around us. This gives us reverberation What a large, echoey room we appear to be in. Thank you, Peter. Now, we've just used a rather musical method of demonstrating the various aspects of sound and the sonic dexterity of the human voice. Fundamentally, our control of these basic elements have given us the development of speech and the ability to communicate on both a higher intellectual level and on a common animal level. Now, I say basic elements, but getting to this point is truly miraculous in itself. Studies have shown that controlling our vocal utterances and producing speech is the most complex motor skill a human can perform. Around 100 different muscles are used in the production of speech, all coordinated perfectly by millions of neurons and a region of the brain called Broca's area. We have the ability to produce about 14 different discernible sounds per second. Andy, maybe about 20. But despite the complexity of the act, we can do so with ease, literally even when we're asleep. Surely, this is the ultimate feature of the human race, the definitive feature of our species. When performing, composing, or listening to music, there is activity in nearly every known part of the brain. It's literally mind-blowing. And part of our interpretation of speech, the emotional part, follows the same neural patterns as with music. We are hardwired to respond to the subtleties of the human voice on a level that I think is almost beyond our comprehension. A study that demonstrates this point brilliantly was carried out in which the words of a number of surgeon-patient consultations had been completely filtered out, leaving just the tone of voice alone. From this, listeners were able to tell which doctors had been sued for malpractice and which hadn't. The emotional nuances in their voice gave it away. So the voice is a vessel for emotion, which lays bare the underlying meaning, irrespective of the dictionary of words or languages that may be formed using it. Vocal music relies completely on this. The singer, like any other musician, creates a relationship between the different dimensions of sound we talked about, using melody, harmony, and rhythmic structure. And in doing so, creates a form of primal, expressive, emotive language. Now, much of the music we create is really quite complex, and this can give rise to rather abstract feelings, ones that are impossible to describe, specific to an individual, and completely situational. But I'm sure that many of you will have songs that set off certain emotions, whether it be a song that makes you think of a long-lost lost loved one and sets off extreme sadness, or perhaps it's a song that makes yourself and perhaps some of your friends behave wildly out of character on a dance floor on a Saturday night somewhere. Composers, arrangers, and performers often try to predict and tap into these emotional loopholes, effectively hijacking the brains of their listener. The easiest way to demonstrate this is with the major and minor chord. Da. And indeed, thanks to a lifetime of listening to modern Western music, we're all on some level hopelessly tied to this association of major equals happy and minor equals sad. Saying that, if you were thinking that this is a gross oversimplification, you'd be right. Here's an example of a song in a major key that may not necessarily make you feel happy.
When the world leaves you feeling blue, you can count on me. I will be there for you.
How did that make you feel? There's a huge variety of responses people can get from this. Happy, sad, cringing, general nausea, murderous rage, to name a few. Almost none of them positive, because very few people actually like this song. I'm kidding, of course, because as we all know, literally no one likes this song. Now, this was a slight concern of ours when we were tasked with singing this very same song on national television. So we'd like to try and demonstrate how we chose to treat the music in an attempt to elicit a different emotional response.
When the world leaves you feeling blue, you can count on it seems. All your hopes and dreams are a million miles away, and I will reassure you.
How did that make you feel? Sad? Thoughtful? Reminiscent? Do you feel confused? Or aroused? Total bewilderment down here at the front? No. You may have felt nothing or all of the above, but the point here is that what is arguably the same section of music has seemingly endless possibilities for emotional communication. The human voice is the most immediate and connected instrument we have access to. And because of this, I believe that singing can be one of the most emotionally engaging forms of music. Whether we use our voice for performing or simply for engaging in conversation, we are appealing to a primal, instinctive part of our being. Through this, one can experience joy, sorrow, comfort, or love. Such is the power of this most sacred human characteristic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. It has been a pleasure and an honor to talk to you today. I hope you now all understand a little better why we have spent so much of our time over the last few years making weird noises in a small room of the Union, and why we will continue to do so. To conclude, we'd like to give a short performance. You may recognize some of it. Enjoy.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water. And I think of all the things I watch you doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, why don't you come on over? Valerie, why don't you come on over? Reach for the stars. Every mountain higher, reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. Every mountain higher, reach for the stars. Follow your heart's desire.
Thank you. Thank you.